All right, that last, Ding ding. Hey there, happy Monday everybody. So even though my grandma passed over a decade ago, my mom still makes her birthday cake request every year, and that is a Mississippi mud cake. And if you've never had it, it's basically an insanely rich sheet cake. I don't think it's the cake itself is extremely chocolatey, but it may be that then the marshmallow and the chocolate on top kind of just blow out your taste buds. But this is a favorite. I think it's really cool that Mom still makes this every year. And we're gonna try to make this into an ice cream. So I thought about using, these are the last two pieces. I thought about using that, but I think I'm going to take a different approach instead. What you did not just see is me running into the tripod. So I apologize for the different camera angle, but we'll start with our cup of whole milk, cup of heavy cream, 2/3 of a cup of sugar, squeeze of vanilla bean paste, pinch of salt. And like I said, the cake itself is not super chocolatey, so this is 1/8 of a cup of cocoa powder. I was going to use a full 1/4 cup, but apparently 1/8 of a cup is all that I have left. So I guess it's time to order more. And we're just going to go ahead and bring this up to a simmer. As I said, this is a very rich cake, so I do want to get that butter flavor in there because it's a very buttery cake. So 2 tablespoons of butter, and we'll just throw that in there to go ahead and get that melted. Okay, it is steaming. That last little bit of butter is just about melted, so we will take 4 egg yolks. We'll go ahead and get these tempered. Go and get everything back in the pool, and we'll go ahead and cook this on up. It's not quite coating the back of my spatula yet. Alright, I think that's okay. We will go ahead and kill the heat and slide it off. Now during that cooking you may have noticed that there were a few little chunks of cocoa powder that did not get fully dissolved. I'm not incredibly concerned about that since we are straining all of this out. So, got a few little pieces of cocoa powder, 1 little piece of egg. That's not a big deal. And we'll just go ahead and bring this on up to 3 cups. Give it a stir and a quick taste. I'm gonna throw the lid. I'm pretty pleased with that. It is nice and rich. It does taste a lot like the cake itself. So we'll go ahead and get this in the fridge. All right, next morning, the Mississippi Mud ice cream base should be ready to churn. We'll go ahead and get it poured into the ice creaminator. Okay, so this is soft serve. I'm about to do some mix-ins, but I had an idea when I was making those cupcakes that if I filled the cups a little less than full, that they would fit into my little containers. I'm going to layer a little bit of ice cream on top. So this would be a little bit more like an ice cream cake. So we're gonna give this a try, because on top of that, I'm going to put some marshmallow topping. And then, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Magic Shell. It's basically a chocolate flavored coconut oil, for lack of a better term. It will freeze up hard. It goes on liquidy and it freezes up hard. So it should give us a nice chocolate crunch on top. Because now I have about 2 cupcakes worth, a cupcake and a half, somewhere in there, and we'll just go ahead and mix that cake in. So first I have about a 1/2 cup of marshmallow topping, and probably a 1/2 cup of hot fudge. Then using the spatula, I just want to fold that in. And the reason I'm not doing this with the dasher is because I really want nice streaks of marshmallow and fudge, as opposed to having it mixed throughout. All right, let's go ahead and get this scooped into a container. And I do think that just for good measure, I'm going to drizzle a little bit more of that Magic Shell on top, just to give a little bit of crunch when we scoop into it. And we'll throw our lid on, MM for Mississippi Mud. Okay, let's try some of the Mississippi Mud ice cream. So if you can see the little recycle symbol is imprinted onto that magic shell. That's kind of fun. Got a nice little crunch when I broke through that magic shell. So we got those really nice looking scoop lines. Let's go ahead and give this a taste. Okay, wow, this really hit the Mississippi mud flavor. I'd say that we hit it to a, well, maybe not a T, but a letter close to T. Q. We hit the flavor to a Q. So the chocolate in the ice cream itself is nice and subtle. It is very rich from the butter as well as the eggs that we put in there. I do get little bits of cake. They're not too large. They're there and they provide a nice textural contrast, if that makes sense. And I can taste the marshmallow, but it gets lost maybe just a little bit. This could benefit from having a little more of that marshmallow topping drizzled on top. Now I don't know that I got a bite with the magic shell. I'm curious to see if that makes any difference texture-wise. Not really. I don't know if it's had a chance to melt, but it's actually a little soft. Usually magic shell freezes up pretty hard, really hard if you put it in the freezer, but it should generally freeze up nice and crispy just from the ice cream itself. But it does provide a nice, more pure chocolate flavor, if that makes sense, as opposed to the chocolate from the cake and the little bit that we put into the ice cream. I'm really glad that I only had that 1/8 of a cup of cocoa, because I think if I had done a full quarter, it may have been too much for the ice cream itself. But overall, I think this was a really good one, and it's sort of fun to turn a dessert that you know and love into an ice cream. Especially has special meaning since, as I mentioned, this was my grandma's birthday cake request. So I think I've mentioned I'm usually not a huge fan of chocolate ice creams, but I do think I could eat this whole bowl. I'm not. I'm going to put it back into the container and eat it a little more slowly, because I actually have another ice cream or two to taste today. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time. Bye! Wait. I forgot that I had some of these with cake at the bottom. I forgot to try one of those. Ooh, look! This one I can actually see a lot of marshmallow. Oh, that's right, because we layered this one, didn't we? We didn't fold in the marshmallow and the cake. So let's see if I can get a nice cross-sectional bite. That doesn't look too bad. Cake on the bottom, ice cream in the middle. Then you have the marshmallow and the chocolate on top. I'm excited to try this one. Oh, that's delightful. That's even better than the ice cream all stirred up, because you have all the distinct layers, right? You get that layer of cake at the bottom that actually did absorb a little bit of the ice cream since it was still soft. So the cake stayed soft. It didn't freeze up hard like a little puck of cake. Then you get that ice cream with the nice subtle cocoa and the richness of the butter. And then the marshmallow did not get lost this time. And then you've got that crunchy chocolate on top. This is the way to go. I'm going to definitely try this again with future cake-related ice creams. Having those layers are just fun. I really like that. I'm going to try that again. And again, have a great week. Bye!